Farmer's rescued kitten turns out to be anything but a house cat. Albert Guzman was a hard-working man who did his best to take care of his family and earn an honest living. He worked as a farmer from Colombia, a country down in South America, where he worked long hours in the sun and dirt. It was back-breaking work, but Albert was a kind and caring man who always did whatever he could to help a person or animal that was in need. One day, while he was on his way home from work, he was driving along a dirt road that passed through some heavily wooded area. And as he was riding along, he saw a small, helpless little kitten sitting alongside the road. The kitten was tiny and terrified and was far too young to be on its own. It had no chance of surviving on its own, especially in the wild terrain that was so full of predators. Feeling sorry for such a tiny and helpless creature, Albert decided to do something. So he pulled over and hopped off his motorcycle. Scooping up the kitten, he placed it in his backpack and continued on his way, bringing the cat home where he and his family gave some food and loving affection. Albert's family was very excited about their new pet, especially his younger children. The first few days with the kitten went smoothly, as the small bundle of fur tried to settle down into its new home. But it didn't take too long before Albert realized this tiny feline was acting rather strangely. The tiny feline was very standoffish and seemed not to trust his human rescuers at all. The more Albert looked at the tiny fluff ball, the stranger the kitten looked, as he had a very long tail and very round ears, unlike anything else he had ever seen in a cat before. Furthermore, smaller nuances of the kitten's behavior, as well as his eating habits and interactions with the family, seemed very odd and unlike any other cat that the family had had in the past. The farmer started doing some online research and started comparing his new furry friend to other types of cats. He was soon able to schedule a home visit from a veterinarian in a neighboring town. Albert had hoped to get some answers, but he never would have guessed that this veterinarian was about to reveal the shocking truth about Albert's new pet. As it turned out, the tiny ball of fur was not a domestic house cat at all, but rather was actually a baby cougar. The best that anyone could tell, the kitten had likely wandered away from where its mother had left him, or something could have happened that caused the mother to be unable to return to her baby. In any case, it was a very wild and potentially dangerous animal that Albert had unintentionally brought home with him. Thankfully, the story has a happy ending, as the vet was able to get the tiny cat to a wildlife rehabilitation expert who's taking care of the cougar until it's old enough to be returned to the wild. Albert says his family misses the kitten, his youngest daughter in particular, but they have plans to get a real kitten for the family to love on and take care of in the very near future.